Good Sunday night, everybody. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Tonight I want to focus on this, I think, last spurt of active weather in terms of winter type weather I think we'll be having. And again, my target period, as I've been discussing, is the 19th to the 24th. So that's the end of this week into early next week. I'm going to say it right now. I think that it's not out of the question that it could snow from New York City north. I'm just going to say it. I know a lot of people out there say winter's over, and it very well could be. But all I'm acknowledging here is that the pattern synoptically can be favorable to produce accumulating snow. Baltimore, Washington, Philadelphia, Central Jersey, I wouldn't really bet on it there at all. I think you could say, okay, winter's probably over. But what I want to break down is what I'm looking at and why I'm saying, hold on a second. You have to really look at the drivers here and say, yes, okay, the sun's stronger this time of year, but if you have an Arctic high in place and you have moisture that's going to run into that Arctic high, or if you have phasing of two jet streams with a blocking, holding that high pressure in place, then you can't just say, oh, winter's over because it's March 19th. I just think that's not, the best way to approach this. And I think, again, it's been a year where averages have been broken many times, and it's not unprecedented for it to snow this late in the season. It'd be different if it was April 15th, but it's not. So with that being said, okay, let's show you what's going on. So this is what the atmosphere looks like now. I just want to show you thermal profiles, okay? So by the time we get to Tuesday, notice a cold front's going to be coming in, and high pressure establishes itself over the northeast, okay? So that's component one. I'd like to see that. Okay, as that's going on, you could see we have a block developing. This is called a negative NAO, high pressure area over Greenland, and a signature to go along with the negative NAO is a vortex that starts to develop, say, near southeastern Canada around 50-50 coordinates. And again, that's important too because it helps hold in high pressure, which I just showed you, that will be building in over the region. See our high pressure area there. Okay, so as we go further along in the week, okay, you can see there's our vortex, there's our block. Now let's zoom in on the United States here and see what's going on with the jet stream. Okay, so if I show you what the jet stream looks like, you can see, especially as we get to later on Thursday and Friday, there's a pretty decent split flow developing here. Okay, so you have an active southern jet here, you have a northern jet sitting up here, and you have a big high pressure center sitting near an area confluence. So the question is, well, is the blocking too strong initially to really form any storm later in the week? And that could very well be the case. And you can see when I take a look at the projections on the GFS here, this is the 18Z GFS, you can see it's bringing a lot of these waves of moisture, for lack of a better term, further out to sea. And again, that's because they're pretty much getting blocked away by this intense zone of confluence here. So now let's take a look for a second here. So if there's going to be a storm, right, let's go back to the upper rear chart. Let's take a look at what's going on here. So again, here's our block. Okay, this is on Friday. Here's our Arctic air in place. We have an active southern jet. And now the question is going to be is, can we really get a big ridge to build here in the west and get a piece of this little semi-vortex here to break in and phase with something down here coming in off the southern stream? And right now it looks like, well, maybe on the weekend that could happen. Okay, so if we get a little piece like this to dive down, we get an active southern jet, we still have our block in place, well, then a storm is possible. Now, the models aren't showing that now, okay, but we have to be on alert. That's all I'm saying. There's a big spread of models. I mean, anytime you take a look at a map and it looks like this, okay, and you have all this different energy down here, all this different energy up here, and we're 132 hours away, things have to be worked out. For example, look at the Canadian model, okay? If we go to the Canadian model, it's basically saying, okay, look, it's going to, we're going to have a low pressure system develop down here, and it's going to ride up into the northeast into a big area of high pressure, and snow's going to break out, and everybody's going to get snow, let's say from North Jersey all the way up into New England. Now again, don't take this literally. My point is that a lot of this has to be worked out, right? If I looked at the GFS from 12Z today, okay, so let's go to the GFS. Again, it was showing a solution that was pretty snowy heading into the weekend, especially up here. I'm sorry, let's see here. Especially up in North Jersey into southeastern New England. Now, the ensembles didn't support this, so I said, okay, maybe it is realistic that this is going to be real fringed off, like I said before, due to that strong gradient. But again, guys, the only point I'm making here is don't let your guard down. Okay, the 19th to the 24th is my target period. We have a very, very I think, favorable setup for a late season event to occur, and now we just wait to see if it happens. So this week will be a lot of fun to watch the models, and we'll see if by this time next week we say, hey, look, we had an accumulating snow event from, say, New York City north or, say, southern New England north into Vermont, and you know what? The pattern delivered. It was chilly, and now we're all ready for spring. So thanks for checking in, guys. That's all I have for today, and I'm not backing down on the ideas that I had from earlier last week.